The Chicago Tylenol murders. 1982. Someone was switching the medicine inside the capsules with poison and putting it back on the shelf for people to purchase and use. 7 deaths. A few copycat instances as well. This completely changed world culture. Package safety and anti-tampering measures regarding medicine, food, and practically any substance you put in or on your body. The fact that the brand still exists today and wasn't killed by this event is still studied in business classes. They issued a full recall, appeared to put customer safety first while eating the costs, and they paid for tamper-resistant packaging research. It was re-released with tamper seals that almost all medicine uses today. Poor management would have killed the brand easily. When Lucille Ball saved Star Trek, it was set to be canceled after the very first season, but she bought the rights and started shooting at Daisy Lou Studios. Star Trek gave us automatic doors and cell phones and the first televised interracial kiss, and that franchise is still busting down barriers to this day and inspiring the new science minds of tomorrow. I am a Jedi, like my mother before me, but those Federation nerds got my respect. People who don't know that there are nearly 900 episodes in the Star Trek franchise, plus 13 movies, for not being super mainstream any longer. It's one of the biggest franchises in media. Facebook started the events feature in 2005 and groups feature in October 2010. In December 2010, Tunisia overthrew its government and revolution spread through the Arab world. Egypt, Libya, Syria, all organized through 2 features on Facebook. Yup. Red Careless People, A Cautionary Tale of Power, Greed, and Lost Idealism by Sarah Wynne Williams, ex-policy director at Facebook, for a detailed description of how it all happened. The invention of the Haber-Bosch process, early 20th century, for synthesizing ammonia. This allowed mass fertilizer production, dramatically boosting food supply. It's estimated this process supports roughly half the world's population today. An immense, unheralded moment making modern life possible for billions. Add to that Norman Borlaug and his work on dwarf wheat, higher yielding wheat on shorter stalks that didn't tip over with their bigger heads. How close the 2008 crash came to actually fully crashing the market. Like full on worse than the crash of the Great Depression. If I remember, it came down to several hours. I was working for an insurance company at the time. As soon as the market started falling, our part of the company, the workers' comp division, was rebranded to a totally different name. Not sure whose idea it was, but I'm fairly certain it came from the head division manager, and not from the CEO or any of the board members. As a result, our division didn't really have much fallout from the crash that affected the parent company. AIG. The Bretton Woods Conference. In 1944, some 730 delegates from all 44 Allied nations came together at a large hotel in New Hampshire to outlaw practices which are agreed to be harmful to the world prosperity. And so the international banking system was established. IMF was created. All currencies were required to be convertible for trade, and exchange rates were modified so that one nation would not be favored over another. All these actions led to the development of the World Bank. Downside, the whole world's economy got teetered together forever, whereby one lunatic president's tit-for-tat tariff war, or to be more precise, ego war, can lead to the whole world's economy going down the drain. It was decided at Bretton Woods that all currencies would use the US dollar as the standard trade currency. This is how the US has been allowed to economically punish its rivals for decades. If the Bretton Woods system were to break, and any major trade commodities were to be traded in IDK Chinese yuan, the US would lose a monstrous amount of imperial leverage. I think a lot about how Hillary Clinton possibly could have won the 2016 election if an investigation into her emails wasn't opened up again, because someone named Weiner couldn't stop sending sick pics. This is a perfect example of the butterfly effect. There are thousands of small decisions that led to Weiner's computer being analyzed at that exact time and to him having relevant information. People seem to forget the Boxing Day tsunami of 2004 when listing the most significant events of the 21st century. It's right up there with 9/11. COVID and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Wasn't really that significant though. Devastating and a tragedy, yes, but it has hardly any effect on the world and human history. The earthquake that basically wiped Haiti off the world map, only leaving a giant pile of rubble, yet its effects on the world itself are rather minuscule. Though we aren't at the end of it, with that one either, since the political instability of Haiti can be partly attributed to the after effects of said quake. Boeing Day tsunami, in comparison, was a giant catastrophe with many people who died, but the country's hit recovered way better from it. Eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815. It caused volcanic winter in parts of Europe, with food shortages and famine. Scared aristocrats were barred in their manners and were entertaining each other with stories. Thanks to them, we have Frankenstein and Dracula. Horses moved from transport to food category, and people were forced to find other means of transportation and invented velocipede. People who starved in that time invented fertilizers that allow food to grow in horrible conditions. This the best one I've read so far. The assassination of Tsar Alexander II. Alex III, who is a radical conservative, succeeds him, blames the Jews for the death, and enacts the May laws in the early 1880s. 2-3 million Jews emigrate from the Pale of the Settlement due to oppression. Most go to the US, but hundreds of thousands go to Germany. This influx of migrants upsets Germans, setting the stage for the Holocaust. It's also the beginning of applied Zionism and the earnest movement of Jews to Israel, giving us what we have today. No assassination, no Holocaust, no Israel-Palestine conflict. That didn't upset the Germans. The Nazis used the Red Scare and its supposed links with Judaism to get into power. There was a day in deep dark history when someone had the idea of turning our spoken words into drawn symbols on. Possibly clay or rock. We don't know who or when this happened, but it was the day that literacy was born. One line of thinking is it actually started with tallying rather than words. So you could count sheep or bales of wheat. Battle of the Teutoburg Forest. It was a pivotal event, resulting in the end of Roman expansion into Northern Europe, ending at the Rhine, thus leading to the culture clash that continues between Southern and Northern Europe that continues to this day, and has led to so many other conflicts, such as the Reformation and the 30 Years' War. It wasn't even in the Teutoburg Forest. It was at Kalkris, Lower Saxony, Germany.